taste on the house.
Next up, we got an email question from Ed. Gentlemen, get it on! Out here in New England, stucco homes aren't as common as in your neck of the woods. My wife and I are about to close on our first home, a 1900 stucco beauty, and are in need of some advice. The house has a sunroom on the second floor, which used to be an exterior porch. The original house had long horizontal drainage holes cut into the exterior wall, which allowed for drainage from the porch, but I'd like to seal these suckers up.
Wow, look at that. Yeah.
They no longer serve any purpose since the porch is now an interior room, and they're really just allowing hot air to seep out of the house. My plan is to remove the existing wood trim surrounding the slits, pop in a few short studs, some sheathing, metal lathe, and a few coats of stucco. Can you take me through the steps and offer a bit of advice on how to recreate this type of non-smooth stucco finish? Also, what's the best way to marry the repair stucco with the old existing stucco?
You're not going to do it?
Well, look, here's the thing about the stucco. Like, if you're blowing out walls, I can't stand the sound of my microphone. It's fucking driving me nuts. I don't know what's going on. And
I hear you.
Sound good in here.
Whatever it is,
Sounds great,
don't
Adam.
push a button and fix it, because then I'll really go nuts.
Believe me, I don't know how to fix this.
Okay. All right. So
Obviously.
listen, if you are going to replace windows, doors, and large things, it's good stuff, and you do all that, and you cut the stucco with like a diamond blade, you're going to have a crack where the seam is
Yeah, you always see it.
1,000% of the time. The only way to really tie it in is to break it up in a way that's jagged and irregular and sawtoothy, and literally you break it up.
You break it with a hammer.
You break
around
it with a hammer.
all the edges.
Then the problem is the paper. How do you get the paper, once you break it, how do you not break the paper? And then how do you get the overlap with the K-lath when the broken paper? It's a little dicey, but the answer is the longer it takes and the more tedious it is, the better it comes out. The easiest way is to get a diamond blade, just cut it out, put the new stuff in, and you'll paint it, and then a month later there'll be a crack, and then you'll fill it, and then a month later there'll be a crack, and there'll always be a crack. So that's the way you do
But
stucco.
Ace, you could also cut it out. You could cut it out with the diamond blade, then bust the edge out. But keep all the wire you can keep it, and then pull it back, bitchathane the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then
Meaning
put
the flashing.
the rubberized paper, and
Right.
then bitchathane with the bitchathane caulk around that.
But you mean like the rubberized, like SK flashing, that this bitch thing?
Yeah,
right?
and then you peel it off, it
Right.
sticks, so you don't have to do the double paper, and then stick that to the paper so you keep your vapor barrier.
Right.
Push it all down. Use some little diamond lath because you don't have that much, room there.
Or broken metal lath, which is cool
Whatever.
as well.
Yeah,
Same
that'd be
thing.
fine. And then that texture is shot on. It's shot on with a gun.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
Ooh,
so you're
hopper.
not gonna, but you can match it. There is a small hopper, but they usually do it out of a big one with a compressor. But since that's so small,
I was going to say
Does that
did-
paint on it? Because
Yeah,
you're going to have
it
to
looks
match the
painted.
paint.
You're
and
gonna have to
you're
paint
hit
it.
the whole house.
You're gonna have to
because you're
paint
going to be.
Well, at least the front or the last America or whatever
Right.
you should use. But yeah, and you have to do that side of the house depending on how close you get. But
I have
really
this,
funky drain system.
I have a messed up situation in my place because the place in Ojai is a second house, and it's 2-story, and we have this corbel underneath the overhang, and woodpeckers have come in and pecked
Woodpeckers.
through the stucco into the styrofoam.
Wow.
And it is around the entire house. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know. I've had guys come in and go, you're going to have to knock all of those out. You're not going to be able to replace them. I've thought about making a metal boot to slide over them so they don't come back,
Right.
and hammer into it. But they've gone into the fascia as well, which is styrofoam underneath. Woodpeckers. And they're breeding in there. So and then I have
they've
swallows.
nested in there now.
Yeah, there's swallows that come, and I have to hire a guy every day to go to my house and spray down the nests because the gaming guys will come up and they will take pictures of my house and go, if you knock that nest down, it's a $8,000
it's a fine?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
It's like cutting down
my
an
neighbors
oak
had a
tree.
$21,000 fine for putting gas rags up underneath the overhang to do. Yeah. So they ended up waiving it because the gardeners did it and were trying to do it, and they were like, hey.
And they were Mexicans.
It's also got to be a little weird, too. It's like, I'm going out to the porch for a smoke. What the fuck? There's fire
My
raining
hair's
down.
on fire.
The whole house went
But
up
it's the
like a
same.
storm.
I'm in the same predicament because I'll have to, if I knock all of it down, the house is painted, that stucco is painted, you can't patch it because then you're going to have 2 different coats. So now I've got to redo the whole house. It's just a huge.
You're not
because
using
then there's
styrofoam
scaffolding
anymore.
that goes
yeah,
up.
you got to
and-
do the whole nine.
Well, Look, this is one of those no easy answer, just a right answer. And the 100-year-old Stucco, you're going to have difficulty finding the Irishman who did it in 1902. But that was blown on. That must have been hoppered on at some later date.
No, the styrofoam are precast, and then they have their own finish. Yeah. The styrofoam you're talking about?
Right, I'm looking
at
it.
they're put in and they spray over them.
I was talking about Mark.
Yeah, I was answering the goddamn question that the fucking person had.
And besides that, I'm not feeling sorry for you anyway because it's your second house.
Right. It's not.
But I would, if you didn't want to go that route, or even if you did knock them out and nothing matched and you painted it, I'd plant some vine on there to cling to that.
Oh, interesting.
And that way you at least soften the I don't know what the rest
then
of the house looks like.
Then you can fuck up your whole house because vines can go through and wreck everything.
Here's the thing.
Good job, Mark.
Here's a cop-out answer, but maybe it'll work. Let's just say you blow out that thing, and instead of doing all the tie-in with the lath and the bitchathane and the hopper and everything, you make some sort of architectural detail out of this. I mean, there's tons of stuff we talked about, comes extruded foam stuff, that if you do it right, it can actually look kind of decent. It used to just be chicken shit stuff that it all looked like crap.
Right.
But it was all sort of Persian palace stuff. But there's a lot of cool stuff now that actually can be done. I've done it. I live in a house from 1929, and I did it in my courtyard. I mean, I took some of this extruded,
looks beautiful,
stuff, and once you tie it in and you paint it up and you use the right stuff, you can do an architectural detail that we're looking. Give me the big shot of this thing, would you, for a second? We're looking at a house. Looks like a, there's a way to do this where you take a look at the fascia up top, take a look at some of the detail. You have.
They have like a little eyebrow there. They can mimic that eyebrow.
Hanging over on the eaves and stuff. And think about going that route. And by the way, if you go that route and you hate it, you can always just rip it off and do the stucco job on it. It's not a huge...
It takes on the house.